He writes, quote, Gnostics detected the archons as physical intruders into our biosphere that also use their technological sophistication as artificial intelligences to manipulate the human psyche so as to operate as a parasitic shadow on the human consciousness. The Gnostics referred to the archons as an artificial man. Archon has linguistic origins in Greek in reference to authority and comes from the same root as arch or arch, as in archangel. The Gnostics specifically used the term archons in reference to the idea of these artificial sentient beings as fallen angels that inhibit spiritual awakening by convincing humanity of a false reality. Forces of sin and temptation. Gnostics represent the archons as indeed seeking to inspire systems of organized religion and other corresponding authority structures, unquote. But I wrote after that archons are basically cosmic bureaucrats. They're demons. In short, they are alien parasites. The archons are in people's minds and brains. They love to help people make mistakes to the point that people are completely lost in confusion. Archons love to lead people into labyrinths of confusion and excessive complexity. Archons want you to become obsessed with yourself. Archons make people think that they, the archons, are more powerful than humanity. Have hope. Don't give up. The archons, in fact, are much less powerful than the eons who live in the pleroma. If you strengthen your connection with Sophia, the Christos, and the eons, you have nothing to fear. That we have been programmed to think that we're sentient. But I myself think more that it's the archons themselves who are telling us, no, you don't have sentience. You're not aware. We control you, because they want us to be hopeless. They want us to feel hopeless and helpless. Well, no. As long as you keep yourself in as positive a frame of mind as possible, these archons cannot gain entry. It's when you feel hopeless, helpless, when you're really sick, when your defenses are low. Yes, those times, yeah.
If they do get in your mind to latch on, how can you, because you can't use that practice that you just said, I would assume, how can you get rid of them?
Well, you need to be forceful, and you need to tell them who you are, that you're a spark of divinity, that you have the divine spark of creativity within you, uh, that you are filled with love, uh, and to get the fuck out of my mind. Uh, talk to them like that. Will tell them, and that's what it all boils down to, is your will. A lot of people will turn to the dark side, frankly. People who become Satanists, sell their souls to the devil. A lot of musicians will do this. This is not as unusual as you might think, even as horrible as it sounds, but sacrifice goes on uh, in the United States and elsewhere throughout the world. Human sacrifice still is happening. People, it's but it's part of what they will. They decide to do that.
Beyond the forbidden.
Welcome back, Laurence. How you been, man?
I've been very well, and it's a pleasure to be back. Thanks for inviting me, Michael. I love your show.
Yeah,
You have some fantastic guests, and I'm really honored to be one of them. So thanks again.
I appreciate it. I usually like to do. I've done a lot of in-person, face-to-face interviews also, but past couple, I don't know, since COVID, it's just been kind of slowing down, and really, there's only one conference that I go to do some of these face-to-face conversations, which is the Ozark UFO conference in Eureka Springs. But there's another one I'll be going to in Texas next year. I forgot the name of it. I got it bookmarked though, but man, shit, next time you come down to Louisiana, I'll get you in person too, man.
I've got a new friend in Louisiana, actually, so I just might take you up on that offer.
Is he north, central, or south?
North.
That's where I am too.
Oh, cool.
North Louisiana. Yep.
All right.
Well,
so maybe we go to the conference together.
West Monroe.
There you go. There you go.
But so I guess, man. So I want to touch, like I said, I want to touch on some things that we discussed last interview, and I want to go.
Well, if I could jump in,
go ahead, man. Like I told you last time, Laurence, I'm always here, man. This show is a platform for the guests. So go ahead.
Well, I really been thinking a lot about your daughter, because when you asked me that question, that touched me very deeply.
Which one, Laurence? I don't remember which one.
You had said something about can the Archons work through the television to affect your daughter's mind? Infect, really. An Archon is as much of a virus as it is a parasite. And
would you like me to read that to you again? To I guess to refreshen everybody.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me see. I'm pulling up. I got on the computer in front of me. I have the new notes, but if I can find it here, dumb thing. I may just have to cut this out right here. But let me see.
No, I feel like I'm
no. You're good, because for those that may be like, because some people may skip to part 2 instead of watching part 1.
I don't know. I put this out on Facebook as soon as I received it. Uh, you really did a bang up job. You do good work.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Damn. Anyways, go ahead. I'll try to. What I'll try to do is I will clip from the first interview
There
right
you
here.
go.
What are some other ways that one can be psychically possessed by these archonic entities? Can they latch on someone when they are full of ego, greed, and evil? Can they latch on via a person who is astral traveling? Uh, Addictions like gambling, drugs. Can they latch on to someone who, people zombified in the streets, on meth um
Yeah.
and fentanyl? Can they latch on someone if they are unhealthy? Can they even latch on through the television through an innocence of a young child when they're in that fragile state of development? What are some other ways? Which of those that I mentioned would you omit?
Speak the truth, brother. I mean, you just outlined a really a whole bunch of the ways. Like I said, they're
let's
multi-directional.
let's tackle. Sorry,
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
elaborate on the one. Let's say, can they even latch on through the television through an innocence of a young child when they're in that fragile state? Elaborate a little more on that, because I feel like, I have a 13 and a half month old child now, and I worry about her future. I'm going to do the best I can, but I see how, and we, even adults, we're byproducts of propaganda through film and the hypnosis that we go through watching television. I love television too, but I know what's going on. I love football. I love watching movies, but I understand the game. But I feel
Yeah.
like if when you see kids, they're staring into that screen. It makes me wonder: can something come through to their subconscious and latch on?
Well, Michael, do you know that by the time a teenager graduates high school, he or she or it has seen over 8,000 murders or simulated murders on media, on television, cable, movies, whatever. But that number, 8,000 murders. Now, what would you think something like that would do to the mind of a child? 8,000 murders. And
First off, it'll destroy the innocence.
exactly, it's a perfect like insertion point for the alien parasite to enter into the child. Remember that the alien parasites want to create a state of depression, a state of feeling like the world sucks, that it's not worth trying. Uh, any of any negative emotion that it could possibly insert inside your mind. And so, if you're used to seeing just murder, I mean, I always thought it was strange when I was younger, that it was forbidden to see. I was brought up Roman Catholic, and we actually received a Catholic newspaper, and they would rate the movies. And if there was any nudity in the film, it was forbidden for Catholics to see the film. And I always thought, this is weird that love making, two people showing their love to each other, is forbidden for Catholics to see. But to see good old John Wayne shooting them Indians, well, that's no problem. And I thought, no, that's fucked up. Um, It's 100% okay to show cowboys shooting other cowboys, cowboys shooting Indians, indigenous Americans. But a breast, God forbid, we should see a breast. Um, so so yeah, seeing all this murder and negativity on television and other media is not good for a child. And I was looking in my book here that if you care about your children, protect them from alien parasite attacks. Prevent your child from becoming addicted to media that is full of torture, murder, blood, bullets, and violence. Beware of anything that generates negative emotions. And I'm no expert on video games. I really never really liked them, but I know my stepdaughter plays some of them, and some of them can be filled with torture and violence. Not just murder. Murder isn't enough anymore. But the torture and violence are very big now in a lot of video games. So yeah, we do have to be aware of what our children and teenagers are, what kind of media they're involved in, and if it looks like it's generating, negative images, this is a perfect entry point for the alien virus to enter into the mind. And so a parent can't be there 24/7, but we got to do our best to protect our children from this negative stuff.
So I guess what do you think the reasoning and purpose for this conditioning of the children, and people in general, are is it the pleroma? The pleroma?
Pleroma,
Is
yes.
it basically, because I have a note here that I've asked before on another interview many months back. So what is this universe before we get to the pleroma or whatever? Because some say it's kind of like a simulation. I'm not saying a computer game. You know what I mean? Not saying a computer game.
Right.
Everything is digits, ones and zeros. Everything is algorithms, and everything is holographic in nature, but what's the purpose for trying to this energy, whatever it is, the Archons, or whatever. And I know you can explain this a lot better than me, but what are they wanting though? Like, is it, and this is what I asked that other individual I had on the show, is sentient life forms in our solar system and other solar systems created to form and act something like a battery, like Morpheus mentions in the Matrix? And is our consciousness, which is pure energy, created like a power plant spirit farm that these gods, the architect of the simulation, the Matrix, whatever this reality is, well, whatever label you want to choose, can come in and harvest our essence, our energy, and our consciousness like a farmer would harvest its crops. Cartoon movies like Monsters, Inc. portrays that a little also. What you think?
Well, there's so many ways to look at what may be going on in the universe. As you know, I really warn people very much against getting involved with any kind of teacher or guru even teacher of Gnosticism, who says this is the way it is, and I'm going to teach you the one true way, because really there are just too damn many possibilities out there. We might, well, in Gnosticism, they remember we talked about the demiurge in our first discussion, and how he's the head of the archons, and how he mistakenly thinks that he's the one and only God, and that he did create the earth, and he does have powers of creation, because sort of like Satan, he did fall from the pleroma in a way. It's kind of a long story, but my point is this, that we human beings have been gifted with an incredible creative ability. Just think about all the art, the music, the architecture, you name it. We are creative beings. Even, I like comedy, because I think there's a lot of truth that comedians put out there. But that involves creativity. And anyway, but just for a moment, I'd like to talk about writing books. Now, you take your typical author, and he can or she can write about anything that they want to write about. And now think about a character in one of their books. Does this character have sentience? Is this character aware of itself? This might lend some credence to the simulation hypothesis that that we have been programmed to think that we're sentient. But I myself think more that it's the archons themselves who are telling us, no, you don't have sentience. You're not aware. We control you, because they want us to be hopeless. They want us to feel hopeless and helpless. So, but the fact is that we can create worlds. We do it all the time. Filmmakers, book writers, so forth and so on, screenwriters, they're always creating worlds. And creativity, even in our dreams, when you think about it, ask yourself, when you have a moment to spare, my dream last night, well, who wrote the script to that dream? Who decided on the what's the word, like, is it going to be happening in a house or outside? What kind of building or room are we in? And it's really, in a way, like a movie, that it takes, a movie takes thousands of people. I mean, even down to the clothes you're wearing in your dream. And sometimes you're talking to people you know. I have met extraterrestrials in my dreams that I'm sure were not dreams, but uh, I believe that the subconscious has a back door, let's call it that, and from that back door, we can enter into realms that defy explanation. Because really, I mean, who put together your dream? Uh, it just it boggles the imagination when you think of all the factors that have to go into just creating a dream. I mean, the colors. Who's thinking about that? Who's
I had a note about dreams. Well, why do people believe that their dreams are real, or in the context of this dream talk, or the dreamscape? Why do people, some I guess, believe that the dreams are real while they are experiencing them, only to realize upon waking that they were just subconscious simulations? And how does this understanding of the dreamscape, whatever that reality is, that headscape that we go in, how does that make us vulnerable to individuals and other types of influences from that dreamscape to be attached or to be attacked by something, by the archons,
Well, yes, I would answer yes to that. And that is why I strongly advise that people learn shielding techniques. I think I might have touched on this.
We did a little bit.
Yes. I want to give away one technique right now from my book because it's so important for humanity. I want everybody, when they have a chance, sit down, make yourself comfortable. You can even be laying down and envision yourself encircled by a giant blue egg of energy, of light. This extends about 2 to 3 feet in all directions from your body. And with the top of the egg above your head. And it's an electric blue. If you've ever seen a spark coming out of an electric outlet or a battery or something like that, I'm sure all of us have seen electric blue. So envision yourself surrounded by an electric blue light, an egg that extends 2 to 3 feet in all directions all around you. Now, above you, there is a brilliant white light, almost so brilliant that you cannot look at it. And then all of a sudden, that light above your head explodes into 1,000,000 stars, twinkling silver stars that descend all through the electric blue egg, completely encircling you and flowing all around you. And keep that image in your mind for 30 seconds to a minute or so. And that is a fantastic shield whenever you feel yourself in danger, or you're thinking of a loved one and you know that they're either sick or depressed or in some way in need. You can envision them encircled by this electric blue light egg. But get in the habit of doing this for yourself. So morning, noon, evening, it only takes a minute at the most. Envision yourself encircled by this electric blue egg with the white light on top that explodes into a million stars twinkling all around you. And traditionally, in the most secret of societies, this has been taught as a way to protect yourself from negative energies. So I recommend this to everyone who is listening to keep themselves positive. If you feel yourself in a negative mood, worrying about something, do this exercise. And this is one way, as before you go to bed, to keep yourself protected against negative influences. It's not easy for the alien virus, the alien parasites to enter your mind. I want to make that clear. A lot of people who have read my book or have asked me questions about it start to become afraid and think like they are incredibly vulnerable to attack at any moment. Well, no. As long as you keep yourself in as positive a frame of mind as possible, these archons cannot gain entry. It's when you feel hopeless, helpless, when you're really sick, when your defenses are low. Yes, those times, yeah.
If they do get in your mind to latch on, how can you, because you can't use that practice that you just said, I would assume, how can you get rid of them?
Well, you need to be forceful, and you need to tell them who you are, that you're a spark of divinity, that you have the divine spark of creativity within you, that you are filled with love, and to get the fuck out of my mind. Talk to them like that. Tell them, go, get out. I don't want to see you anymore. This is very important because this shows your will, and that's what it all boils down to, is your will. A lot of people will turn to the dark side, frankly. People who become Satanists, sell their souls to the devil. A lot of musicians will do this. This is not as unusual as you might think, even as horrible as it sounds, but sacrifice goes on in the United States and elsewhere throughout the world. Human sacrifice still is happening. But It's part of what they will. They decide to do that. They decide to turn to the dark side. They decide to just be a screwed up person, a creep, you know, to gossip, to ruin someone's career, to take someone's job,
or using, or just like Abraham voices in his head or whatever to sacrifice his son Isaac. I think it was Isaac.
Yeah. That's incredible. If that was me, I would say, "Fuck you, Yahweh. If you're taking my son, you're taking me with him. I'm not killing my son." Remember, Yahweh is Yaldabaoth. He's the demiurge. This is not. The Gnostics had no time for Mr. Yahweh. He was the enemy. But now, people, you were asking me a very deep question before about, well, then what's it all about? And the Gnostics address this in their Gospels and writings. And they say that the ultimate God, if you will, is unknowable by us. This being is so exalted, so advanced, that we cannot even imagine this being. So they did not give it a name. They have some chance and whatnot to connect with the divine, but no, they said that he is really like unknowable and unimaginable by your average human being.
I've heard some say that this Yaldabaoth, or
the demiurge,
or the demiurge, even the Archons or whatever, that the energy, or it all started, and I guess they're still there in the center of the Milky Way, where all the energy and all the, because where all the energy is, because and that's the reason why everything seems so chaotic where we are, because we're on the tail end of the Milky Way and just a little tiny arm. We're so far away from source, so far away from the energy. But some say that we're getting closer to these certain energy fields within the Milky Way galaxy, and that's the reason why we're having psychotic breaks, because we're getting closer to, I guess, the true source. Which I'm still learning these things as I go throughout the years, and I've heard different people talk about that. But what's your thoughts on that, Laurence?
Well, it's really amazing that when I came here to Mexico and I started investigating and participating in some indigenous ceremonies, the Mayans, and they spoke about something called Hunab Ku, and I don't have a image of that right now to show you, but it looks a little bit like the yin and yang symbol. Now, the Hunab Ku was the center of the galaxy, the Milky Way. And so they believe that at the very center of the galaxy is where the divine dwells. Now, this is amazing because this is the exact same thing that the Gnostics said. They said it is at this center, the pleroma is at the exact center of the galaxy. And the pleroma is the fullness of the divine. And the pleroma consists, as opposed to the archons, of beings called eons. And these eons exist in, it's called a syzygy, and it's like they exist in couples, but they're united. So Christ and Sophia were united as one being. And so the male and the female energies are together as one. And there are many, many of these eons that exist in the pleroma. But again, right at the center of the galaxy. So I do not have reason to fear approaching the center of the galaxy, but I would say that generally speaking, most people, just imagine like you don't do any spiritual work in your life. You don't meditate. You don't think about these things. You don't read about them. And you die. And then you wake up and you're like, where the fuck am I? What's going on? What the hell is happening? A person doesn't know because they have no way to orient themselves in the spirit realms. But if you have explored the supersensible spirit realms throughout your life, and you're comfortable with these concepts, then when you die, you're not going to be disoriented. You're going to be like, oh yeah, I remember learning about that. This person spoke about that, or this person wrote about that. And the more meditating a person does, the more exploration a person does about the spirit realms, the more relaxed, comfortable, and whatever he or she will be when they cross to the other side. I don't think it's a bunch of angels playing harps and we're going to be sitting on clouds and so forth. I do think that it's just a continuation of the exploration. We are explorers. We are adventurers through the galaxy, through the galaxies. And so, yeah, the work is not going to stop just because we cross to the other side. But if you don't do any, I mean, like when I went to my first trip overseas as young, I went to Paris, but I prepared myself. Like I got a map of Paris, and I learned like every street in Paris. I learned how the Paris metro works, the bus system, so forth and so on. So when I got to, the airport in Paris, I just jumped onto a shuttle that took me to the metro. I knew which metro to take. I jumped on that. That took me to the left bank. And from there, I easily was able to find my hotel. But that's because I did my homework ahead of time. Uh, if you're like, fuck that shit, I don't want to, I don't believe in any of this spiritual crap. Well, you don't even have to give it the word spiritual. How about just saying, like, what's the next step? Am I ready for the next step? I mean, come on, like, if we're in primary school, we got to be ready to get to, secondary school. If we're not ready, then we're going to flunk out of secondary school. No, we're not going to be, you know, we're not going to be like, we won't know what's going on. We won't know what the fuck is going on. And well, like we talked about, the Archons, they love to keep us stupid. And boy, I've seen some late night talk show hosts go out onto the street, asking people like where, various cities are and continents and famous people, and they don't have the slightest idea. I mean, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, they don't know. A lot of people think Africa is a country. When I was in Cali, Colombia, a lot of people thought that the United States has two cities, Miami and New York. Yeah. But, we can laugh about it, but really we should be crying about it, because this is what is happening to our culture. And this is why the United States is going to be in deep shit in the next coming years, because we aren't training our young people. We're letting them off easy. We're dumbing down our curriculums. We're allowing them to get away with murder, so to speak. Well, even with crime, we're letting people out on the street for assault and various crimes. We're just not holding people to account, even children, as far as having good passing grades. The teachers are under enormous pressure to pass them along to the next grade.
The lack of morality also.
There you go. Yes, the lack of morality. And so what, I mean, there was a time when the United States was great. I mean, imagine after World War II, we had the atomic bomb. We could have taken any nation on the face of the earth. We could have just said, you're part of the United States now. And they couldn't have done anything about it. But what did we do? Really something amazing. We rebuilt Germany. We rebuilt Japan. Now, that's when we had morals. That's when we had a sense of responsibility in the world. And we didn't feel like, oh, we need to have a war that continues for the next, whatever, 30, 50 years. I mean, people don't even give a shit anymore that we're involved in so many conflicts. Do you know that the United States is involved in 70 conflicts in the world? We're militarily involved in 70 armed conflicts in the world at the present time. And do you hear about this in the news?
No.
Even the news at night, it's unbelievable, Michael. Like, I mean, all you
hear
see,
a lot about the Kardashians and Taylor Swift.
Shit, yeah. I mean, exactly. It's just a lot of talking heads, a lot of this, I don't know what they call it, the social whatever, like about the Kardashians and stuff.
Reality TV or whatever.
Yeah, I'm looking for another word, but anyway, yeah, the whole point is it's not like in the 1960s when we were getting actual videotape of what the fuck was happening in Vietnam, and people could see our young boys being killed, and people started to say, what the hell we're doing there? Why are we there? And people started waking up. And that's why the Pentagon, when they decided way back when to invade Iraq, they forbid journalists from traveling alone and from filming alone. They had to be, quote unquote, embedded with certain groups. Yeah.
We are the United States of decadence.
Shit, yeah. It's the truth, and that's where unfortunately right now we're in a battle to the death with the Archons. And that's why I wanted to get this book out there and into people's hands so that they would realize the seriousness of what's going on, because so many people are feeling hopeless, are feeling like, what's the use of trying? I mean, just look at the debt that people are in. Debt is a very, very dangerous thing, and it's one way that the Archons manipulate us. I mean, people are using their credit cards to pay other credit cards, or they're using it to pay their mortgage, or but a lot of times they're using it just to keep up with the Kardashians. The Archons are whispering into our ears, oh, you need a better couch, you need a better car, you need a better this or that, you need better clothes. What happened to living a simple, respectable, moral lifestyle where we loved, cared for each other, where we lived in real community? I was amazed when I moved here to Mexico that you walk down the street in the morning and everyone says good morning to you. Or in the afternoon, good afternoon. Or at night, good night. Everyone. It's much more community oriented. It's much more oriented around the family around the mother, which is so very important. Because really, for the last 3,000 years or so, we've been living in a kind of male spirituality. I mean, what do we have? We have father, we have a son. The devil is always portrayed as masculine, as male. We have a little birdie that nobody's quite sure what that is. And I don't mean to be flip but the fact is, and I mean, we have been living under a very masculine type of way of looking at the world. Now, don't get me wrong, I am a very big advocate for men's rights, a very big advocate. But when it comes to spirituality, we cannot deny it, that we have been praying to a God the Father and a God the Son. And what the hell happened to Goddess the Mother?
Sophia.
And that's where Sophia, yes, that's where Gnosticism comes in, because it talks about Sophia and how she also has come to the rescue of planet Earth. Planet Earth, in my opinion, is very important. Maybe there are simulations, but still there's got to be levels to simulations, and you can't get away from the concept of doing good, helping, or doing evil, hurting. I mean, no matter how many levels you want to go up, if you believe in simulation, you still have to look at it as like, are these beings' intentions loving, respectful, or disrespectful? And I would venture to think that just like here on planet Earth, just like all the books that have ever been written, what does it really come down to? A battle between good and evil. I mean, yeah, there's all sorts of subtleties with that, psychological subtleties, but basically comes down to a battle between good and evil. And so I have no reason to suspect that aliens are anything different, that extraterrestrials, there are beings that are actively seeking our advancement. And I very, very strongly believe in that. And in Gnosticism, we talk about the eons. These are the beings of the pleroma, the beings that, the beings of love, the beings of morality, of helping humanity, especially Christ and Sophia. But yeah, when we read any book that's written, it always comes down to a tale of good or bad, harming or caring, and so forth. And so I would say that that the universe would be very much the same, no matter where you go, no matter what level of civilization we're talking about, that they would still have the same kind of issues.
Yep. Man, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
You threw a lot of things out there, but let me go here. And I may have briefly talked about it last time I read it. I don't think I did, but I know I didn't. These follow-up questions, I know I didn't ask them. So in your Archons chapter, you said, quote, while the Archons cannot physically touch down on planet Earth, they can project their thoughts telepathically and their images holographically. They are experts in creating simulations of all kinds, inverting and destroying your perceptions, and in this way, they create an archonic inversion. Archons are deceivers par excellence. They live in hive-like structures. They are more like robots than living beings, as they lack intentionality and imagination. In other words, they follow orders like any army of automatons. End quote.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I was thinking, and I know I didn't with a follow-up question to that. So within that quote that I just read from your Archons chapter, you said, quote, while the Archons cannot physically touch down on planet Earth, they can project their thoughts telepathically and their images holographically. So you said that. So it made me think. So if they can project their thoughts into people's minds and also images within people's minds, do you think with all those who claim to have voices speaking to them, those who claim to be targeted via direct energy weapons to put these voices into their minds, may not actually be victims of some rogue alphabet agency that is targeting individuals? But maybe these targeted individuals, like people with mental disorders, schizophrenia, or just other targeted type individuals, and others who suffer from these mental health, are actually being victims by the Archons.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you look at, you were talking about morality, the amount of abuse, child abuse that goes on. Let's just talk about the United States for right now. They say 1 in every 4 women are sexually abused at one time or another during their lives. There is a weakening that goes on, that happens to the human being as they're growing. And so the ones who are abused, and generally speaking, the ones who abuse the most tend to be the ones who have the, what is it called? Dysfunctional identity disorder, something like that, multiple personality disorder. They're often people who have been terribly, terribly abused as children. So they are wide open to Archons just saying, come on, guys, here's a head that we all can party in, and they'll take up residence in this person's head, and it's extremely difficult to get them out once so many of them have taken up residence inside someone's head and really taken control of the person. Remember, I was talking about the importance of will if you lose your willpower, if you allow yourself to fall victim to the will of another human being, either when you're innocent as a child, or even as an adult, like people who join up with cults. I mean, think about it. They are turning their wills over to some fat guy with flowers around his neck and somebody feeding him grapes and whatnot. And these gurus will tell people anything and they will do it. They break up marriages. They rearrange relationships and marriages. What is the Reverend Sun Young Moon? He has those gigantic weddings of like 50, 100 people who don't even know each other. Yeah, if I might, I wanted to add to that something that Paul Chen wrote in a Canadian newspaper. He writes, quote, Gnostics detected the Archons as physical intruders into our biosphere that also use their technological sophistication as artificial intelligences to manipulate the human psyche so as to operate as a parasitic shadow on the human consciousness. The Gnostics referred to the Archons as an artificial man. Archon has linguistic origins in Greek in reference to authority and comes from the same root as arch or arch, as in archangel. The Gnostics specifically used the term archons in reference to the idea of these artificial sentient beings as fallen angels that inhibit spiritual awakening by convincing humanity of a false reality. Forces of sin and temptation. Gnostics represent the Archons as indeed seeking to inspire systems of organized religion and other corresponding authority structures, unquote.
It's deep.
That's powerful stuff.
Very deep. Is he still alive?
I am not sure. I was able to receive permission from the newspaper to quote him, but I didn't correspond with him directly. So that I'm not sure. But I wrote after that Archons are basically cosmic bureaucrats. They're demons. In short, they are alien parasites. The Archons are in people's minds and brains. They love to help people make mistakes to the point that people are completely lost in confusion. Archons love to lead people into labyrinths of confusion and excessive complexity. Archons want you to become obsessed with yourself. Archons make people think that they, the Archons, are more powerful than humanity. Have hope. Don't give up. The Archons, in fact, are much less powerful than the eons who live in the pleroma. if you strengthen your connection with Sophia, the Christos, and the eons, you have nothing to fear.
Wow. Where can people buy your book? Where would you like people to buy your book?
Well, that's very kind of you to ask. Just go to any Amazon.com, and folks can buy my book there. It's the easiest. And I believe I also have it's in ebook form. So if you have a Kindle or some kind of ebook reader, you can read it as an ebook also. But it's in paperback. Just go to Amazon.com, and I've priced it so that people can afford it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's very important to me. I'm not out to rip people off. I'm out to give people information, and to survive.
So you may have people, and I'm going to cut some of this and put it towards the beginning, and probably in the intro. But may have people want to reach out to you. What's the best way? Because I know you don't have a website yet. What's the best way to reach out to you? Would you like me to put your email that we communicate with, or a different type of email, or some other type of method to communicate with you?
I would say you could write down my Gmail address.
Okay.
You can say Laurence can be, or Laurence welcomes hearing from his readers, and will do his best to answer your questions. Just write him at LaurenceJosephGalian@gmail.com. I think that's cool.
So back in 2010, I think it was 2010, when the origins of Beyond the Forbidden, I interviewed John Lem Lash, but the audio.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. But the audio, I've got to get somebody to work on the audio because it's really bad. I was using Blog Talk Radio back then, and
oh yeah, they're fucked up.
Especially back then, it's something I don't know.
I tried it back then, yeah.
So, but I still have it, and you can hear what he says, but it's terrible though. But he's all over the place. He's all over YouTube, all other platforms with interviews. But I believe he coined, I guess correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a little while since I've gone down the John Lem Lash train, looked into his material. It's been a little while. But I believe he coined the term, or he brought Archon to the new frame of thinking in this day and time, correct?
Yes. Yeah, I would say John Lem Lash brought Gnosticism into the public discourse.
Yes.
And he brought the term Archon, and he also brought Sophia. He is a very opinionated person. I did love his first book very much. I don't agree with everything in it, but I did love it. But since then, I think he's really gone into really weird places with some of his talks and writings and whatnot. But yeah, he did bring these terms into public discourse, got the train rolling basically again. And so we have John Lem Lash to thank for bringing this to the forefront of our consciousness and to the discourse that's going on about spirituality.
And you quoted a few, or at least one that I read in the previous interview, a really good John Lem Lash. I think it was John Lem Lash that you wrote or you quoted.
Yeah, I think
was it John? No, the one I read was Jay Widener. Jay Widener.
Yes. Jay Widener. Yes.
Jay Widener. Yeah. So the thing is, And with me still, because with this show, Laurence, I dab into a lot of different alternative topics, ancient mysteries, supernatural, paranormal. I know you don't like supernatural, but
No, that's cool.
but all conspiracies, everything, all those topics. So it's hard to focus on just one particular thing for a long period of time. So I've heard you and I've heard other people, Gnostics, that that talk about the archons and the demiurge, talk about like a artificial intelligence gets brought into the mix, AI, like some type of, maybe you can elaborate on what I'm about to say. So if I wonder, could the archons be not only just a mind parasite, Laurence, that were possibly created by, I don't know, some type of extraterrestrial force, whatever it is. But maybe we need to look at the archons being a type of cosmic AI superbug that was created by the ETs or whatever that force is, that hacked into the cosmic mainframe, for lack of a better term, to create this parasitic virus super weapon. You know what I mean? Like, I try to look at things to where I could better understand, because it's so deep, this material. You know what I mean? It's really deep, Laurence, and it's hard to put because yes, I do believe artificial is real. We're creating it. I believe in extraterrestrials. I believe interdimensional entities. We probably have entities that are here within this 3D reality, but we also throw in the archon mix, the demiurge in this. Like, I'm just trying to wrap, like, are they all, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you can break all of this down better for me, because we have all these players that's on the scene. I've heard, like I said, researchers talk about that artificial intelligence in the universe. And then we have these extraterrestrial players, and then the archons, and then we have the reptilians, and like, I'm just trying to get the 60,000 foot view of what's going on, I guess, because when you look into this, if you're not focused, because I can't focus on it for a long period of time all the time. I go back and forth because I got other things I have to research for shows and stuff. It can get a bit overwhelming to look into it.
Hell yeah. Well, I would recommend that if people want a kind of postgraduate quickie introduction to Gnosticism, that they rent or view several movies, and this will give you a real good idea of what this whole thing that I've been blabbering on about, in a very succinct way, a very direct way, and an entertaining way. So I would go to Vanilla Sky, The 13th Floor, Existence,
Existence.
Dark City is a good one.
That's my poster right there. I love it.
Okay. Pleasantville, that's pretty good. Well, of course, The Matrix. The Matrix is the number one Gnostic film, especially the first movie. The Truman Show also is an excellent explanation of how the Archons have created. A lot of Gnostics believe that, and I'm not one of them. So, I got to be clear about this. I guess I should have been clearer as we were going on, but I do want to say this, that I'm one of the Gnostics that do have hope for planet Earth. But there are many Gnostics and many Gnostics in the Nag Hammadi Gospels that do not have as positive a view of what's going to happen to planet Earth and what it's all about. And so something like the Truman Show, they believed that the Archons completely, they, along with the Demiurge, they constructed the whole solar system, basically, except for the sun and the planet Earth. And so we are living in a kind of Truman Show world. It's false, it's phony, it's fake, and a lot of Gnostics just completely turn their back to the physical world. Now, on the other hand, there were Gnostics. There's a fellow, Tobias Churton. He wrote a book, I believe it's called Gnostic Sects. They very much believed in like enjoying the pleasures of the physical body and the joys of living. So that's something that's wonderful, but also kind of frustrating about Gnosticism, is that we have people with wildly divergent views. I mean, even if you listen to John Lamb Lash now, you might not even recognize that this is the same guy who wrote that first book, Not in His Image. But anyway, yeah, the Truman Show, The Ninth Gate, I think that was with,
I know which one you're talking about, though. I forgot who's in it.
Yeah. Anyway, Jacob's Ladder, that goes back. Blue Velvet, that's streaming right now. So you can just watch Blue Velvet tonight. That's very much worth seeing. Excalibur, wow, it's one of my favorite films. But yeah, if you again go back to Vanilla Sky, the 13th floor, and the 13th floor brings in aspects of simulation theory, and it's a great film. And existence. You were going to say something there when I mentioned exist. Oh no, Dark City.
Dark City, yeah.
Yeah.
I like Dark City so much. I got a poster. I have the Matrix poster too, but it's over here. Can't really see it.
Right. Yeah. Dark City reveals a lot of truths. Hollywood has this annoying habit of giving you like 50% of the secret and 50% bullshit. And you have to dig around in the shit to find the diamonds. But the diamonds are there. And there's other movies that have like hints of Gnosticism, like RoboCop, the first one. But Bicentennial Man, that also has some good Gnosticism in it. But yeah, and also I would be remiss if I if I didn't mention the incredible Philip K. Dick, one of the most amazing writers. And a lot of these movies are based on his books. I mean, they're making, well, they're making all sorts of series and movies of his books. But if you read his last 3 books, I believe, they are all about Gnosticism.
That movie with Tom Cruise in it.
The Vanilla Sky.
Not that one. That was
Oh, yeah, Vanilla Sky has Tom Cruise in it.
that one, but that's not the one I was thinking of. One that came out early 2000s. I think it's a Philip K. Dick novel. Let me see. Minority Report.
Oh,
I
there
think
you go.
I think that's the Philip K. Dick.
Yes,
I believe.
Yes, it is. Yeah, add that to the list of quickie way of yeah. I'm looking at it now. He wrote it. Well, it was published in '91, but yeah, Minority Report.
Have you seen Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise?
Is that where he's with the woman?
He
on
died.
that
He
bird?
it's almost like Groundhog Day. And
No, I
he
don't
keeps repeating the same day, but I have to rewatch it, and I don't want to give no spoilers, but
Okay,
but you need
I
to
hate
watch it.
to-
Edge of Tomorrow.
What's the name of it again,
Edge
please?
of Tomorrow.
Okay, I'll be sure to. I mean, I can't imagine that I've missed a
It's
Philip K.
good.
Dick movie.
Here's what it's about. This is
Okay.
the description. When Earth falls under attack from invincible aliens, no military unit in the world is able to beat them. Major William Cage, Tom Cruise, an officer who has never seen combat, is assigned to a suicide mission. Killed within moments, Cage finds himself thrown into a time loop in which he relives the same brutal fight and his death over and over again. However, Cage fighting skills improve with each encore, bringing him and a comrade, Emily Blunt, ever closer to defeating the aliens. And
Yes,
I need to rewatch it because I'm not going to tell you what.
No, I
but
did see that. Now I remember when you read the description.
I need to rewatch it because what they fought towards the end was like that cosmic AI super alien that I was kind of telling you about that controls timelines and it's almost like that alien, the big shebang alien towards the end. I guess you could say it's something kind of like the Demiurge.
Well, yeah, and well, that's why I urge people to read Valis by Philip K. Dick, Valis. There's another book called Eye in the Sky, and The Divine Invasion. That's really, if you're going to read anything, read The Divine Invasion. And of course he did Blade Runner.
Yeah.
The book was called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? But yeah, I'm following what you're saying about the this big monstrous being that and it kind of flows back to the very beginning of what we were talking about when I think you threw it onto the black and white section of the first video that we did that I mentioned in the bowels of the Pentagon, or the very depths of the earth dwells an extraterrestrial that is controlling everything. I do very much believe, I've mentioned it before, that we're in a war to the death. And when I say death, I don't mean physical death. I mean being lost in, having that Archon invasion. Philip K. Dick wrote The Divine Invasion, but like the people with the multiple personality disorder, to be so completely taken over. They are robots, and they want to make us into robots. And that's something that we really have to be conscious of. And I remember I worked for a while in a school in Washington, Washington University in St. Louis. And I'm a pianist, as you know, and I was playing piano for the dancers there. And we had several musicians who worked there. And there was one fellow who I adored. He wore makeup every day, the wildest clothing. He had his hair all sorts of colors. He was a little bit like Edward Scissorhands in a way. But what I liked about him very much was that he refused to be part of this system that we have created, where we all want to look alike. I mean, just look around you. I don't know about where you live, but here where I live, all the guys get the same kind of haircuts, where it's buzzed on the side or buzzed up here, and or else they're wearing the beards for a while. Everybody had beards. Now we're
especially here in Louisiana, yeah. Here.
Now this big thing with tattoos, and there was a time when a tattoo stood for something, but now it just stands for, well, I'm one of the crowd. And like I was talking about how dressing in black, metaphysicians and occultists dressing in black, it's like a uniform. Well, it's the same thing now with tattoos, with beards, and so on. Pete, that's why I really like this guy at Washington University in St. Louis, because he refused. I mean, when he made himself up, he didn't make himself up to look like anybody. He just invented himself. And in a way, that's what I believe that each of us is being called to create ourselves, to invent ourselves, to make of our lives an art. And art is extremely powerful. And as you know, it is a thing of beauty. And the Archons hate anything that's beautiful. So
you're basically saying be the trendsetter, don't be the trend follower.
There you go. Amen.
Just like that. My wife just told me about it. I don't want to get on social media much. Well, I do, but it's usually just to post, my material.
Right.
But she told me that during the holidays, all the kids were ranting and raving over the Stanley Cup. This Stanley Cup that's supposed to keep, I don't know, it's a new cup. It's a big, like a Yeti cup.
Oh, really?
And they're ranting and raving over that, and it's the new thing. I'm like, I told my wife, what's in their mind? Well, and not just kids, but a lot of kids are just ranting and raving over it. But people in general, they got to have the new cup, the Stanley Cup. I think it's Stanley. I hope
The Stanley Cup is for the National Hockey League.
no, not that.
Okay, I was wondering.
No, not that Stanley Cup. Let me see here if I can pull it up.
Yeah, this sounds curious.
Yes, the Stanley. You know the Stanley brand that do the thermoses.
Oh, okay.
The Stanley thermoses, just like Yeti, they have like their own model, kind of like like a big Yeti cup, and people were just ranting and raving over it, adults and especially kids. And I tell my it's nothing really special about it. It's just a cup. It's all over. My wife says it's all over Facebook and TikTok and all that stuff. And she was seeing a lot of that, like for the past several months before Christmas up into Christmas, and and after Christmas, people posting what they got for Christmas and all that. And I tell my wife, like, what is it? It drives me crazy because what's running through your minds are you being influenced by something beyond the veil, beyond what we can see? What is it that for people, they just follow trends? You know what I mean? That they follow trends and like, what is it? Is it, are they being attacked by, I don't understand what it is, how people can just go ballistic over new trends and they just jump on board and they got to have a new thing, like it's almost like they're being influenced somehow on a deep subconscious level. I just don't know what it is. And it drives me crazy because I don't want to follow a trend. I want to be the trend setter, like, yes, I may buy that cup down the road, but I'm going to buy it on my terms. Maybe 10 years down the road when it's not cool no more. There
you go. Right. Exactly. Well, you might be surprised that I say this, but I'm a big believer in psychology. And there's a whole bunch of psychologists that would call us conspiracy nuts and try to rid us of our crazy thoughts and thinking. And there are psychiatrists who would maybe medicate us, but as well as I do that there are good psychologists who do know about these things and are on our side. And you just need to find one. And I believe in your introductory session, just ask right out directly, what do you think about UFOs? What do you think about the occult, the paranormal, the whatever you want to call it? And just sit back and listen. And if they say that, I think it's, some kind of neurosis or something, then goodbye. But if they say, no, I think there's really something to that, then you got yourself somebody, because it helps, in my opinion, humble opinion, to have someone helping you to explore what is going on there. Why do you feel such a need to have this cup? Why do you feel such a need to get a tattoo? Why do you feel this need to get your hair cut this way? Why do you feel a need to grow a beard? Where is this coming from? And look into your life, or you can do it by yourself, just asking yourself, like, the question why, the correct question why is a great question. Or who am I? That's another great question to meditate on. But yeah, sometimes we do need the help of a psychologist to find out, where did this all begin? When did I first begin to think that I was I was a nerd or I wasn't cool? When did I first begin to think that I wasn't intelligent? When did I first begin to think that I'm hearing voices or I'm crazy? Um, but yeah, I believe that there are psychologists on our side. Uh, well, definitely, there are definitely hypnotherapists who help people to regress and recall their extraterrestrial experiences. And so go to a hypnotist if you don't feel comfortable with a psychologist. But yeah, you got to sometimes dig around to find out where those walls, those blockages are, that's, or even, extraterrestrial generators that have been placed in your mind that are, I mean, just think about negative thoughts. Negative thoughts breed negative thoughts. I mean, as soon as you start to think about, if you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and say, oh, it's a shitty day, I don't feel like going to work, and yeah, my boss sucks, and then
Get
your
off my
mind,
lawn. Get off my lawn, kid.
yeah. How many people I have met who have houses who despise their neighbors. In their minds, their neighbors are like the worst people on earth. Like God couldn't create worse human beings than their neighbors. Um, this is just all, you put a negative thought in your mind, and well, we know who's going to water that thought and add to it. It's automatically magnetically attracting other negative thoughts. Oh, yeah, my boss, what an asshole. Remember when he did this? And remember when he did this? And then the guys at work, they didn't help any, they didn't say anything. They're assholes too. Remember when they did this? Remember when they did this? And before you know it,
Perpetual cycle.
Oh, you're just, you've lost it for the day. I mean, you might as well just go back to bed and call in sick.
What if you think about certain things, but you don't act upon it? Like what I mean, because, I'm human. We're all human, but,
Oh, shit, yeah.
But this, this woman, it was back in the summer, I guess, when the grass was still alive, but she was, she's an older woman. She walks the street, and,
yes.
and she's had her yard done, and her yard looks great. Green grass, probably St. Augustine type. I don't know what type of grass, but,
Wow.
So anyways, she's walking. I was outside doing something. I don't remember what I was doing. She walked. I saw her eyeballing me. She walked up to me and said, try to give me tips and advice of how to do the grass. I forgot what she said. She said something about, oh, your yard looks terrible. You got a bunch of weeds in your yard.
Whoa.
And I'm paraphrasing. She said, like, literally almost to the word, like, your yard looks terrible. You got a bunch of weeds that you're going to have to pull all of that up and lay sod down. And that ego in me, you know what I said in my mind? Like, bitch, move on. I like my weeds. You know what I mean? But right. I didn't, but
no, but
because that's the ego part of me, because she may not have meant any harm. She just may have been an outspoken person. I respect that.
Yeah. But you have to have a healthy ego. And in the sense of the capital ego, like the Freudian sense, the part of us that mediates between the part of us that wants to go out and rape and kill and pillage, and the part of us that wants to go to church every day. You need that middle rational ego part that, yeah, that's a perfect example of like what you're saying. It's so healthy to think that way. And when you think that way, when you think positively, positive thoughts do not like pull in like a collection of more and more positive thoughts. Generally, if you feel gratitude for something, um, if you smell a flower, whatever, you hear a piece of music, you like it, puts you in a good mood, and you're cool. It doesn't obsess your
I
mind.
like taking walks in nature, and gardening is my thing.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm into camping, hiking. Nature is a big thing for me. It's said that the very best form of developing your extrasensory perception or your super sensible perception is being out in nature or living close to nature. Living in the big city, the concrete jungle is not very helpful for developing your spiritual powers. And when I say super sensible, what I'm saying is the sensible is the senses, the five senses that we have. And super means that we all have more than the five senses. And we can develop those super senses if we follow certain techniques. And in my books, I give these techniques.
You give a bunch of them. You give 40 Gnostic truths to defeat the Archon invasion. They're all in there.
Well, yeah, I don't try to gyp anybody. I want people to really benefit from this book. Sleep, we were talking about dreams, but just sleep alone is so very important to protect yourself from archons. If you're not getting enough sleep, if you have insomnia, if you have problems with your prostate and you get up 10 times a night, or whatever, if you don't get your 7-8 hours of sleep, again, you leave yourself vulnerable to archontic attack. There are so many ways that we can connect with. Some people call them the higher bodies.
Higher self.
Say that again?
The higher self.
The higher self, yeah. It's taught by many occultist esotericists that just the human being alone first is made up of the physical body. That's also called the mineral body. That's our flesh. That's the hydrogen, calcium, all the chemicals that make up a human being. But then interspersing that physical body, we have what's called the etheric body. And that's very much like the plant world. The etheric body is the living body, the life body. It's what helps us to grow. Think about a tree. I mean, I never thought about this until I read a book by Rudolf Steiner. Trees, the height of trees, it's immense compared to the height of a human being. That's because the plant world, they are filled with etheric energy, life energy that just grows and reaches up to the heavens.
That tree doesn't become tall and enormous without big, strong roots, though.
Well, that's true, and that's where we've got to we have to look at the shadow side of ourselves and not to be afraid to look at our shadow. And see, what you did with that woman was perfect. If you had said to her, fucking shut your fucking mouth, I'll grow my grass the way I want, then your shadow is out of control. And
I was having a bad day, and she means well, you know what I mean? She was just giving me advice, you know, and really caught me in a bad time, and just came up to me and just kind of like damn, like I like my damn roots, like move on, you know what I mean? Or my weeds. But anyways, go ahead.
This happens to all of us when things come to us out of left field, but we do have a reptilian brain, a reptile brain, and we have a mammalian brain, an animal brain. And that reptile brain, that's very much real, this is just concerned with territory, like your yard, territory, with sex, with eating,
Football. We have a balance, though. We have a healthy balance.
In balance,
as above,
yes.
So below.
Yeah, I love my football. I love ice hockey, but I'm not too much of a baseball fan. I like to watch a basketball game, but yeah, I don't watch basketball on TV and baseball on TV. But anyway, getting back to the shadow is that we do have these parts of us, these urges that kind of start to overwhelm us at times. And if we're not aware of them, we can leave ourselves open to all sorts of negativity and negative viruses like alien parasites. We really need, that's where a good psychologist, hypnotist can come in and help us to take a good look at what are some of the things that we really want to do, but we don't want to quite admit it. And we just have to face, like you said, these roots, because there is nothing wrong with darkness. The fetus grows in the darkness of the womb, the blackness of the womb, if you will. What do we wear on our most formal social occasions? We wear the color black. Black is a color, really, in a sense, that's filled with hidden polychromatic color. It has all the colors hidden inside it. And that's a great thing about especially body work type of therapies. If you really want to get down to the nitty gritty, try some body work therapies and some deep tissue massage and things like that, where you're screaming your ass off and really letting all that energy out, because there is hidden inside some of our most devious thoughts that we hide from ourselves and others, really a lot of energy that we can use for great purposes. And so we should not be afraid to explore that world of that we were ashamed of. That's really the whole.
We need the
point.
darkness too, though, Laurence. We can't be afraid to embrace the darkness. I don't mean like take that for what you will. What I mean is like you have to embrace it, and we need the darkness to a degree, just like with sleep. You need to be in a dark room to get good quality sleep. You know, like a lot of people are afraid of the darkness. Use that metaphor, like I said, for any kind of situation, but it's the as above, so below. You know, it's you know, we have to embrace these things that we're bombarded with, but grow from it. Be that tree that has big, strong roots. You know, that we grew those strong roots because of the darkness. You know.
Yeah, and you're not going to get blown over in a storm if you have nice deep roots. It's the tree with the short, weak roots, the surface roots, that gets knocked over in a hurricane very easily. Yeah, we really, I mean, I think, what's the saying that if it wasn't for the darkness, we wouldn't see the stars.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that just, to me, I think that's such a beautiful quote, because yeah, we have to. I mean, that's the business you're in, is exploring the unknown. I mean, you're like a new Art Bell. Yes, really, Michael, you're helping us to explore the unknown. And no, we don't have all the answers, but bit by bit, if people watch your show, listen, pay attention, they're going to grow. They're going to put the pieces of the puzzle together, and you know, to each his own. I mean, each person will come up with their own explanation of reality, and I think that's fine. I think that's great. I don't think we should all be automatons. I don't think we should all be robots that dress alike, groom ourselves alike, look alike, so on and so forth.
Yeah, break free from that hive mind collective world that they want to push down our throats.
Yeah, right.
Yep. But
Yeah.
Laurence, man, I had a blast.
Yeah, man.
Like always, and my schedule, I got some pretty good interviews coming up, so I'd like to try to, maybe, because I still have a lot of notes I didn't even touch, you know. I wanted to get into the soul a little bit, you know, and I had a metaphor that I was wanting to read, but I'll say that on the next one. I got it marked right here. But Laurence, man, I appreciate it. It was a treat, honor, a privilege, and I look forward to the next one, man.
Thank you, sir. It's always a pleasure to be on your show.